What's up YouTube? For today's restoration project, we got a rare pair of Nikes from 2003. These are number 107 out of 1,050. These go for thousands of dollars depending on the condition. These overall aren't that bad. The uppers need a little bit of work, but the only thing that's keeping them together is the stitching on the midsoles. As you can see, the entire midsole needs a full reglue. We're gonna have to take it apart to make it wearable once again. We got some work ahead of us, so let's get started. Before we get started, this restoration process that I'm going to show you guys today can be applied to any older Jordan 1 or Dunk. No matter what you do, that glue is going to dry out eventually, and this is going to happen. The only thing that's keeping it together is the stitching. Once you pop it off, you'll see what I mean. Usually in the beginning of my restorations, I give the shoe a good deep clean. However, the shoe really isn't that dirty. At the end of this video, once the shoe is all re-glued, I'll give it a good wipe down to remove any surface grime and dirt and recondition the old leather on the sneaker using our solution. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to our channel. We drop weekly content with good tips on restorations, customs, and cleanings. Let's go ahead and take out the laces and insoles. Onto the deconstruction. The only thing keeping the uppers connected to the midsoles is the black stitching throughout the entire midsole. To start the restoration process, we got to remove it very carefully because we are going to put it back once the shoe is all glued together. Typically on all Jordan 1s and Dunks, the stitching ends right around here. So using a pick, we're carefully going to pull it out. Onto the prep work. First, we're gonna be starting with the midsoles. As you can see on the inside, we have a lot of old chalky glue. We gotta get all that stuff off. If we don't and just apply fresh new glue on top of that, the glue job is not gonna hold up. So prep work is very important to having a good glue job. First, we're gonna be using some acetone and cotton balls to wipe all of that stuff off. Same thing with these parts. Got all the old glue off the midsoles. We still have to do the uppers, but we'll come back to that later. We're gonna be using our Rejuvenator solution and a stiff bristle brush to get these outsoles as clean as possible before we put them in the Vick 2000. We do have some oxidation going on, so as is, we'll stick them inside for a couple of days. Hopefully, we wipe off some of the yellowing. Alright, those are going to sit there for a good 2 days. Let's get back to prep work. For the prep work on the uppers, it's not as simple as using acetone and cotton balls. That's just going to create a mess and get all over the uppers. For this, we're going to have to do some skiving and some dremeling. First, we're going to be using a really sharp blade to shave off a thin layer of leather that contains the glue. This part's going to be a little bit time consuming, but it's necessary. So far so good. We got the majority of the glue completely off using a blade. I was very careful not to cut up the uppers. Now we still have to go in with the Dremel to roughen up the material. For this, we're going to be using a 60 grit drum. To complete the prep work, we're going to be using some acetone and cotton balls to wipe down the bottom boards before we apply some glue. One more step we have to do before we apply the glue. We gotta apply some Bulldog adhesion promoter onto the soles. This is a really good trick that my friend Flip the Cake showed me. When you apply it onto the rubber soles, it gives you a stronger glue job and it minimizes the touch-ups. We're gonna go outside because this stuff stinks. We'll apply a nice thick even coat all around the inside without getting it on the outsides. Prep is fully done now. Now for the glue, we're gonna be using Barge Super Stick. Glue's been applied to all 6 parts. It's fully cured. Now it's time to stick everything together. First, we're going to start with the foam and the midsoles. We'll heat up the back and work our way to the front. And then after that, we'll move on to the uppers. Got these two parts connected. This part wasn't that hard, but connecting the uppers onto the midsoles can be a little trickier. First, I'm gonna line up the front of the toe box to the front of the sole. Once I'm confident on placement, I'm gonna heat it up and stick it together. Let it dry for a couple of minutes, then we'll jump to the back. Same exact thing, line it up perfectly, heat it up. The rest of the sides should line up by themselves. Glue job is complete, alignment's on point. I let it dry for a couple hours. Now it's time to stitch everything together. We got the original black thread that I removed originally that we're gonna use again. We also got the brand new white thread that's gonna go on the inside. We're gonna sew it all together using a sewing awl. Stitching is complete. We used all the original black thread, no issues with that. I let these dry overnight fully so we could go in and do the deep clean next. For this, we're gonna be using a rejuvenator solution and a soft bristle brush to go over the entire upper. These shoes really aren't that dirty. I'm gonna give this shoe a cleaning for two different reasons. One, I'm gonna put the shoe trees inside to reshape this toe box. And second, the natural oils of our solution is gonna get into the leather and keep it conditioned for years to come. Let's go ahead and put the shoe trees inside and start the cleaning. Alright guys, that's gonna bring us to an end on these 2003 Pharrell NERD Dunks. These came out really clean and they're ready to be worn. Don't forget, a lot of these shoes from that era and older, such as Dunks and Jordan 1s, need this process. It's just what happens to all those shoes. The glue disintegrates and you have to go in and wipe it all off. When it comes to these projects, it's all in the prep work. You gotta make sure you get all that old glue off and you gotta go about it the right way. Most of the time on these rubber outsoles, you just gotta use acetone and cotton balls. When it comes to the uppers, you gotta use a sharp blade to cut off that old glue, then use a Dremel to roughen it up. There's a lot of techniques that go into these projects to make sure they're fully wearable once they're done. And it's not just about removing all the old glue and applying new glue. You gotta go about it the right way. For example, let's say there's 10 steps to a reglue and you skip 2 of them. Those 2 steps that you skip can ruin the entire glue job. So make sure you take your time, do the correct prep work, and you'll get a clean reglue every single time. You can find all the products at rejuvenator.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next Monday. See you guys.